What's up, guys? This is Seth,
I'm Len.
and today we're going to talk to you about the EnChroma Colorblind Glasses.
This is not a sponsored video.
No.
I got this as a Christmas gift, actually.
Yes, and some of you guys may not know, but Len is colorblind.
Yep.
And can you tell the audience what colorblindness you have?
I am red-green colorblind. Now, that doesn't mean I can't see all red and all green.
Right.
It just means some tones look very similar. You know, there are different shades of being colorblind. And I'd say I'm a moderate colorblind, so red and green I have issues with. It's a funny story, because I actually told one of my friends that I was colorblind. Some dumb girl a while back, and she was like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, do you see in black and white?" I was like, No.
Yeah. So there are some common misconceptions of
Yep.
colorblindness. Throughout, our interactions, I've asked you to if you could tell between this and that color.
Yeah.
Green and red are very similar to you. Is that right?
Green and red are very similar. If you put them side by side, solid red, solid green, I'll tell the difference, of course. But
let's say if we're outside, moderate sunlight and traffic lights. If they were swapped or to the side,
it would be very hard for me to differentiate traffic light colors. Very hard for me.
So you know what's red and what's green because of the positions of the lights. Right?
Again, I can tell the difference very slightly, but yeah, generally it's the positions. That's what I know.
Right. So can you tell us your first experience with those glasses on?
Yeah. So here they are. The style itself looks like traditional sunglasses. You know, the style that everyone wears nowadays.
Modern sunglasses.
They don't generally work inside. So right now they're not really working too well because you need some sunlight.
Now, is that because of the UV rays or something to activate it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my first impressions of it, I got this for Christmas, so I unboxed it, I went outside, and I was really excited to try it on. And I was confused because at first I didn't think it worked. I put them on and I was like, it's making the world look, it looks
red.
different. And I was like, yeah, everything looks red. And I was like, all right, this is not what I expected. Because if you look closely, there's a red tint.
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
There's an actual red tint. So I was just like, these are cheap. They just threw in like a shade of red,
like
thinking it's gonna fix my colorblindness. So I was a little disappointed at first, and I was just looking around. And then I told my girlfriend, we have a fence in the backyard, and all my life I thought it was just like a gray, dull-looking fence, a wooden fence, and I just thought it was gray. And I put them on, and I was like, this glasses don't work. It's just making it look like someone peed on the fence. That's what I told my girlfriend. She goes, that's how it's supposed to look. And I was like, what? And I just looked at it, I was like, what? And I took the glasses off immediately, and I was like, I can see the difference. Which you're not supposed to do. If you have these, don't take them off, put it back on.
Right.
You're supposed to let
everyone does it though.
But I was just so curious to see the different colors, and then that's when I realized what I was missing. From that point on, it's the first experience I had was a fence, wooden fence.
Nice.
Yeah. So we took it around the building because I live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of trees. I mean, it's winter time, but I can see the greens and yeah.
So there are certain expressions in our lives that we use quite often, such as patches in the grass.
Yeah.
And to him, it was just he was always kind of confused with it.
Not necessarily. Yeah, I was more confused with the term patches of grass. When I see grass, I don't see the different shades of the color, the greens. So it was always like when I thought of patches of grass, I just thought everyone meant a big chunk of grass, or if there was no grass there.
You've never seen like dead grass.
I guess I could see like if it was dead. Yeah, I can see that. But
it was like one dead, like little patches here and there.
So I went out and I was thinking I'll look at greens. I looked at that grass, I put it on, and I looked at it for like a good minute, and I was like, I can see where one patch ends and where the next one begins.
Right.
And I was like, this is crazy.
Right.
And there's also a stain on my building, right? And when we first moved into this apartment, my girlfriend always mentioned this stain on the building. She was like, there's a stain on the building. And we always drive by, and I was like, I don't really see anything. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So the same day, or the same moment, I'm looking at the grass. I look up at the building. I'm like, I see the stain now. And
you asked me. Remember you asked me?
I was like, do you see the stain?
What is that? And I said, that's a rust stain, or it looks like water stain.
And I was able to see it, but it was so light until I put these on. And I was like, I can see the stain now.
Right.
I can see the imperfections.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I can see the imperfections of this world.
Because very few people are colorblind. A small population are colorblind.
Yeah.
And so hearing you describe the world the way you see it is very interesting. And I guess those glasses help you see the world that we see.
Yes. Yep.
So even while you were driving, you said to me, "Hey, look at that sign. That sign is green.
Yeah, it's
that sign
it's
is
popping
really
out to me. Yeah,
yes.
Like I've always conceived like a green, sign. But when I wore these glasses, it just stuck out to me. Maybe it's because my eyes are adjusted to the green, so it just it seems like it's popping out more.
Right.
And I had this insane experience because there are colorblind tests you can take, and it was always this specific color. I don't know what it is that I was never able to see. I put these on, and for some reason I could see the number, but it literally looked like it was popping out 3D to me, and I freaked out. It was like I was like, "What's going on?" It's like it was literally popping out, and I couldn't say what the color was. I assumed that it was some red or green or purple that I couldn't see
because you're not familiar with the color.
So I think that's my mind adjusting to it. So it's literally like those colorblind tests where the numbers are bubbled.
Yep, they're dots.
Yeah, and it's popping out at me, and my brain was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" So I immediately took it off. I was like, "I can't see it. Let me put it back on." And I couldn't see it anymore.
Right.
So I think
maybe your brain was rewiring itself.
So when I took it off and put it back on, I messed myself over. So I'm excited to see that again. But yeah, it's a crazy experience.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. Another thing that you've experienced for the first time is the color purple. Can you describe that?
Purple, because purple is a shade of blue and red.
It's beyond blue.
It's beyond
on
blue
the color spectrum.
But in terms of mixing color, it is some red in it. Isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to.
But that's why
I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so because along the light spectrum is beyond blue, and then we can't see ultraviolet. Well, actually, supposedly there's a small group of people that can see UV, but you and I cannot.
Yeah,
or normal people cannot. But we can see all the way up to purple, and you cannot see purple. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
When you see purple, you see it as blue.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So,
what was your first experience of seeing purple?
I thought it was weird.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
What is this? Right?
Yeah, I liked it. And this is so funny because a while back, I remember you and your brother.
Right.
You both wore. I think it was. I think you wore a purple shirt and he wore a blue shirt. Right. And I was like, "You guys are wearing the same shirt." You're like, "No, we're not."
No, we're not.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right.
What are you talking about?
So I thought it was so weird,
Yeah.
And to now, again, I can't see the difference too well, but I can see a difference now, and I think that's just seeing the difference is cool. And
but they're very similar, but
it's
not
still
quite.
very similar. But
I see.
Again, I can see it now.
So what I'm interested in knowing is if you see green the way with those glasses, if you see green the way I see green, because
I guess
you and I know,
maybe not. Yeah. Okay. Even with the glass, I don't think so because everyone's perception is a little different of colors.
That's quite interesting. So maybe everyone's perception of green is different than mine.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I would think so. Yeah.
So we're going like
philosophically.
Philosophically, your reality is different than my reality.
Yes.
And what is really green may not be the real green.
I guess that's why it doesn't bother me, like when I take these off, because I'm seeing all these colors, experiencing the world. But when I take it off, I don't long to see everything again.
Right, because you're used to it.
Yeah, because my reality is what I see now. So, and when I put these on, this is a figment of my reality.
Yeah.
So,
and in a way, that may not be the same reality that I see.
Yeah, because I'm sure it is a little different too, just because there's so much tint to it. So maybe it is distorting other things that's making me feel a certain emotion.
So that's awesome that this company developed a way so that you can see color or at least differentiate between them.
Yeah. Now, again, I don't know if it's just in my head or if I'm really seeing all these colors or... Well, I am seeing things differently, that's for sure. But I don't know if it's going to be effective for everyone or maybe I'm just really excited. I'm like, I think I see this, I think I see that. So to me, I say they were a success.
Now,
personally.
In our channel, we review a lot of gadgets, a lot of tech.
Yeah.
This is a special kind of tech. This is something that changes people's lives.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I've seen a few videos, reaction videos, people like trying it on, looking at sunsets for the first time. And I think that's an amazing thing, you know?
We talked about this. You're excited for...
I'm like, for the beach.
Spring,
the beach.
The summer, and the fall.
Yeah.
Because
that's when colors will really be out.
And can you describe to them your experience with drawing trees and seeing leaves?
Yes. Yeah. That's always so weird to me. When I was young, because there's like the trees are like brown and green, different shades of green.
Right.
When I was younger, I just like made one color, and they were like, "Your tree is a little off," and I never knew,
Right.
So
yeah. A coloring.
Yeah. When I was coloring project. But now I'm driving. I'm like, I see all of these different greens and trees.
Right. Before it was just one.
Yeah. It was
shade.
always like one shade. Even the green blended in with like the tree trunk, the branches. And it was so hard for me to differentiate, so I just thought it was one solid color throughout the whole road. And when you put these on, it's not like that incredible, the difference, but I do see a slight difference. Enough for me to say, wow, this is what I was missing. You know? It could be slight, but again, it's just something that I was missing in life.
Yeah, one of the things that a lot of people talk about is the experience of fall or autumn. So when the leaves start changing color, it's going to be a very unique experience.
That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah.
When we see it, we can see all the different mixtures of yellow and tan, copper, stuff like that.
And that's the stuff that I've always missed. You know, I've never really like thought, oh, fall, these colors.
Right.
And anything with colors,
you hear about it, but it was never a big deal to you because you can't.
Exactly. When anything that came to colors, I never really thought much of it, to be honest. Again, fall, all the colors in the ocean, this and that. I never really thought too much of it because I guess there was none for me to look forward to in the sense that I knew that I was colorblind all the time. So now I'm just really excited to try it and experience the world as it quote unquote should be.
Right.
So,
as far as color blindness affecting you in a professional setting, working with graphics has been somewhat of a small issue with you.
It's a small issue, yeah. It's a little different with monitors because the colors on monitors are a little different from what you see in reality.
Right.
I mean,
sunlight, reflected off of sunlight.
So, but it is a little different. It does become a problem. It can be.
So
I don't think these will work on a monitor,
right? Because it doesn't emit the sun UV rays.
These are more just for like
outdoors
experiencing the world.
But I can see that having those on, you can experience and gain inspiration from the real world.
I definitely agree with
awesome.
that. Yeah,
really awesome. I'm excited for you to see the summer and the greenness of the
we'll go fishing and
grass,
I'll enjoy the world for what it is.
Because when I go fishing, I love to step back and take a look around, and it's gonna be a great experience. So that's pretty much it for this review, and it was a nice talk we had with Len, and thank you for him for sharing his experience with the EnChroma Colorblind Glasses.
Thanks, guys. Have a nice one.
Peace.